Hello and welcome to iConiCon Brews and Stews, where I'll be making the spiced root cake from the Elder Scrolls Cookbook. I'll have all of the ingredients and the instructions in the description, so be sure to check that out while you're cooking. Here's what you'll need for the cake. And here's what you'll need to make the Nord spices. And here's what you'll need for the icing. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do after you preheat your oven to 350, you're going to take your cake pan, an 8 to 9 inch cake pan, and you are going to grease it with butter. And then once it is completely covered in butter, you are going to take some flour and just sprinkle some in to the pan. It doesn't have to be a whole lot. We're just trying to make a layer so that way the cake doesn't stick to the pan after it's finished cooking. And we're just gonna rotate the flour around the pan. And try and hit all of those spots that have butter in them. And it's okay if it's not perfect. Mine's not going to be either. And then once it's done, you can dump the excess out and then set this aside until we need it. Then in a bowl, you're going to cream together a whole stick of butter, which is about a half cup. And a half cup of brown sugar. It doesn't specify which, if you need light brown sugar or dark brown sugar. I'm using light brown sugar. Just make sure it's tightly packed. And then you'll just dump it in there, if we can get it out. That's some tightly packed brown sugar. So once those are in the bowl, then you will need to cream them together. Once your mixture looks nice and fluffy, then you can start adding in your other ingredients. So the first ingredients we're going to add are molasses, about a half cup. Two eggs, 1 teaspoon vanilla, and 1 teaspoon Nord spices. And I'll have all of the ingredients in the description. Once we've added all of our ingredients, we're going to stir those all together. Once everything has been well incorporated, then we are going to add in our baking soda, 1 teaspoon of that, a ½ teaspoon of salt, and 2 cups of flour. And 2 cups of parsnips or carrots. I'm using parsnips. And then mix together until it makes a nice thick batter. Once everything is nice and mixed, then we will pour it into our cake pan. Once all of your batter is in the cake pan, smooth it out. We want to reach all of those edges. And now it's time to bake. We're gonna bake this at 350 for 30 minutes. While the cake is baking, we're gonna make our frosting. So you need 8 ounces of cream cheese, half a stick or a quarter cup of butter, 2 tablespoons of honey, and 3 quarter cups of powdered sugar. Once all of those in there, we mix. Once your cake has come out of the oven, mine ended up taking about 38 minutes total to make sure that my toothpick came out clean. But once it's done cooking and you've let it cool off for a little bit, I think I let mine cool off for about 20 or so minutes. You can run a knife around the edge to help wiggle it out of the pan. And then we're going to turn it out on our cake plate. And since we put that, we greased the pan and put the flour in the bottom, it slid out pretty nicely. So I'm still going to let mine cool off just a little bit longer as I can still see steam and we don't want to melt the icing. But once that's done, the icing that we made earlier, that should be nice and smooth and creamy. We are going to layer that on, and then we're also going to add sliced almonds on top and just a sprinkle of the Nord spices. Now that our cake is fully cooled, we can ice it. So you can just take your icing with a spatula and you're just going to spread it all over the top. So once it is all covered in icing as much as you would like, we'll take our sliced almonds and we're just going to decorate it. And this is again just to your liking. I'm going to make a little flower in the middle. And once you've got the almonds on there how you would like, you can take some of your Nord spices and just sprinkle it on top. And there's our spiced root cake. Now that you've made your spiced root cake, Fusroda out of here and go check out our other iConiCon events.